You are listening to the League of Women Voters Oral History. My name is Ellie Davis, and today I'm talking with Mary Coe about her environmental efforts and involvement with the League.
I've been in Radnor for about, trying to do the math, almost 40 years. Moved here from Washington, D.C., where I lived for a couple of years after graduating from law school and getting married. Um, and I joined the League, golly, I can't remember, it was a long time ago. Um, why? Because once the kids got to a certain age, I guess they were both in school, Radnor schools. Uh, Even though I was working full time, I felt, all right, I've got a little bit of time to get more involved in the community. And I knew some people who were in the league, and I thought, okay, well, I'll join. Um, so that was why. It is sort of a mutual admiration society. There are so many intelligent, accomplished, uh, active women, and it's just an inspiration to hang out with these gals.
Miss Coe spoke about the issues that stood out to her during her time in the League.
The one that consumed me was the Radnor Trail, the bike trail, which was it was I didn't really get involved because of the league. It's just that the league got very involved as a supporter of the trail, and I was on a short-lived trail committee that the township put together to look into building the bike trail where the PNW rail line used to be, and it got very. This is going to sound so familiar. It got very political for not particularly obvious reasons why the Republicans would be against the trail and the Democrats would be for it. Why? Trails don't have political affiliations, but it really got very heated. It was probably one of the, if not the most heated political battle in recent decades in Radnor. And there I was involved in it thinking, oh, a bike trail, that'd be a nice thing. I'll work on this. So little I know that it would be 13 years of my life and going through different court levels, including the Third Circuit, and um, but the league immediately became a supporter of the trail. So I worked very closely in my capacity as a Friends of Radnor Trails president and founder, and a league member. Um, we there are any number of people who were indispensable in getting the trail built, but one group would be the League of Women Voters because they were very credible, they were well respected, they were very smart, they had political, a local political set of skills, and they were amazing. So I think of that as the biggest project I worked on. And then over the years, other things haven't been as deeply involved as I was. That I probably will never be as deeply involved in anything as I was the bike trail. But any sort of environmental issues, voting rights issues, celebrations of the 19th Amendment, things like that. I've been involved in. I've helped paint signs, reminding people it's election day next week, and that sort of thing. Uh, Given my availability, I'll do whatever I can to support whatever is a big goal or project of theirs.
One such important project has been gerrymandering.
The league's been great on gerrymandering. I mean, the league brought a lawsuit. It was successful. Uh, there is a certain uh, chunk segment of the league members who are that's their issue: voting rights, gerrymandering, accessibility. Very passionate about it and very good. And that's natural. It's the League of Women Voters, so of course that's a big focus. So whatever it is that involves making the voting process more open, more accessible, more fair, equitable, more honest. The league's all over it, and they've had some really good success.
Miss Coe has also been very involved with the preservation and maintenance of the willows.
Yeah, and again, the league is just a great supporter. One, because they just bring a lot of talent. Two, because they bring a lot of credibility in the community. We are the Willows, as I'm sure you know, is a wonderful park in Radnor Township, and the crown jewel of it, I would say, at the top of the hill is the mansion. And for many years, the township managed both. They within the township administration leased out the mansion for weddings and birthday parties, and there were craft shows and other holiday things there. And then about 10, maybe 12 years ago, it started to become uh, prohibitively expensive for the township to keep up with the maintenance. And it had been shuttered for almost 10 years. A group of people got together and formed a nonprofit. I was not one of the original members, called the Willows Park Preserve, to try to find ways to preserve it. And they got a 25-year lease, dollar a year from the township to try to restore the mansion and get it going again the way it had in the old days, within a certain period of time. And there was a lot of changes on the board of the Willis Park Preserve over the first 2, 3 years, and I was invited to join the board. And I've been on it ever since, and it's really gotten rolling in the last year and a half. We've had a major donor who basically paid for the roof that's now on there, which is an amazing restoration of the original terracotta roof, and restored some dormers that had been taken out. Um, we've fixed the fountain wall in the back. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but there's a sort of a wall with a fountain and steps. It's sort of a natural amphitheater. We've gotten donations from painters and stucco replacers and what have you to do the work, and the place has really come along. We're getting now to the point where we are booking weddings and parties and meetings and stuff like that. So it's really starting to come back to life. And the other thing is programming, which I'm supposedly the chair of our programming committee, trying to get programs there, a lot of which we did online last year just to gin up interest in the Willows, even though we couldn't open the building and we were still in the construction phase, so we couldn't really do much inside the house, but we did a lot of online stuff. Um, and I think we're on a roll now. I think things are really moving along nicely for the Willows Park Preserve, both in terms of restoring the mansion, the physical restoration, and the programs and getting the community involved. But again, the league very supportive of that. They've tried to have events there when they could, to both to use it and enjoy it, but also to draw attention to it and publicity so that people will see that yes, it's here, it's available, it's usable. Sign up and get us going. The more the Willows Park Preserve has bookings at the mansion, the more revenue we will generate that we can put into more restoration. So it's not supposed to be primarily a wedding venue or a party venue, although that is what it will be used for a lot of the time. But basically, that is to support the real mission, which is continued restoration of the physical building and do really great community program that everybody can go to and have the house open 7 days a week. That anybody can just come and hang out, read a book, have a cup of coffee, or sign up for one of our programs.
Like Mr. Nagel, Ms. Coe spoke about the importance of recruiting new young members to the league.
When I first joined, I remember my impression was it was a group of mostly older, very well educated um, women who were very, very genuinely interested in their community and in voting, not a surprise, in the political process. Um, uh, I think one thing the league has not done as well as it needs to do, and I don't think anybody would disagree with this, is to keep recruiting young blood because a lot of the older members are no longer with us. And it's been difficult. It's a different world now. I mean, throughout the COVID year, because that just doesn't belong in any set of statistics. But more women work outside the home now, and they don't have the time to be active in organizations like the league unless the league accommodates that. So, evening meetings or weekend meetings instead of daytime meetings, just other activities that the league engages in. We have to be very conscious of the fact that people aren't around during the day the way they used to be when they were homemakers. With time to do really a good job, be involved in the community and educating the community. So you have to find a way to squeeze that in now. And we also just have to interest with younger women and men in what we do. Sort of competing with a lot of other activities that people can be involved in, like coaching their kids in sports or, environmental activities or theater or whatever your interests are. It's just one more demand on people's time. So um, recruiting new members, younger members, more men, um, is something we need to do, and it's something we've I think we all realized we needed to do for a while now.
The League also offers a great sense of community and friendship.
The one really fun thing, well, they have a couple really small things like, or sort of little dinners twice a year that are always fun gatherings or potluck and very low key and lots of fun. I mean, you're hanging out with all these really bright, funny women. I mean, why? And a few men. God bless them, the John Nagels and the Steve Ectresses of the world and George Amon. But so those little events are fun. But last summer we did the celebration of the 19th Amendment with a very nice little ice cream social at the Willows, where we had an ice cream truck and we all got our ice cream and we all dressed in white and we marched with little signs, and the 6 or 7 people that were in the park looked at us like, what are these ladies doing? But it was just really fun. And then again, spending time with each other, just talking and enjoying each other's company. And there's I can't remember the last time I actually participated in this, but the league always shows up, at least a handful of league people, the diehards, for the Memorial Day parade, dressed in white, carrying their little signs. So there are some things like that that the league has done and continues to do that are always fun if you can partake of them.
Ms. Coe also spoke about the League's reputation and how the group has been a voice for nonpartisanship.
I think that in terms of our appearances, our statements, our actions, our activities, um, it is very nonpartisan. It's when an issue gets associated with a certain party that it looks like it's partisan, but it's not. It's an issue. Environment, for instance, you might think that that's more of a progressive or a liberal um, uh, type of thing than a conservative thing, but it's not intended to be partisan. It's an issue. So I think that's that long credibility, uh, a real ability to speak calmly and uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Respectfully to elected officials, credibility in terms of actually doing things. Um, that helps in just about every issue before the township or any other, maybe even the county. Um, uh, I think that credibility is really important, and that's why I'd really like to see the organization continue to thrive and build its membership. And the research done is it's hard. I mean, it's impeccable. I mean, these are bright people who are passionate and they really do their homework. So it's when confronted with real facts as opposed to just opinions. And today, a lot of people seem to think opinions are the same things as facts, which of course they aren't. Um, but the league will come armed with facts. Well-researched facts that are hard to refute. So, and if the facts aren't there, the facts aren't there. They're not going to support a position where it's not supported by the data.
We finished our conversation by talking about why people should get involved with the League.
Oh my God, I think there are so many opportunities to do good in any number of important ways: environment, education, uh, uh, poverty, voting, um, and to surround yourself with really bright, really dedicated, funny, charming people, mostly women, but also the men. Um, and to be involved in your community in a way that's really respected, um, and to learn some things in the process, learn about how to conduct yourself in front of elected officials, what's persuasive and what not, what is not, what works and what doesn't. There are so many advantages to it. You get really plugged into your community while having a great time hanging out with really cool people. It's all been a positive experience. The league members are great. They're an inspiration. I wish more people were exposed to the organization and what it does, because they would be so impressed, um, and proud of these members of their community for what they do and the way they do it. Thank you so much for your time and speaking with me.
Thank you to Mary Coe for participating in the League of Women Voters Oral History. Next, we'll be talking to Susan Smith about her involvement with the League. Thank you for listening, and remember to stay civically engaged.